there's this trend of Christian men picking up the red pill. And when I talk about red pill, I mean the Andrew Tate, Myron Gaines, fresh and fit kind of ideology. You know, like when Myron Gaines said, you have to sleep with 30 women before you get married. Or it might even be more. I don't remember exactly what the number was. But a lot of these Christian men are rightly pointing out the issue of these non-denominational churches that basically cut their balls off. The ones that are basically waving pride flags around. The ones that tell you to, you know, happy wife, happy life. You know, if your wife tells you to do something, you better go do it because, you know, that's what Adam did. Nothing bad happened from there. You know, women are very intelligent and women are, you know, you should always listen to them and never make decisions. Okay, you are not a leader. Okay, being a leader is a misogynist. Being a leader is chauvinistic. Okay, do not belittle women. Women should be pastors as well. You know, they're looking at that and they're like, you know, it's not very good. You know, it's not. This isn't what the Bible talks about. Then they see red pill, and they also understand that it doesn't work. Okay, like you want a good life, that those ideas aren't good for you. Okay, but then they look at red pill, and they're like, ooh, you know, they're talking about female nature. And it's, you know, it's kind of right in a lot of ways. You know what? I'm going to pick up this red pill. And I start listening to their ideas and consuming their ideas. And what they don't understand is that a lot of these ideas are garbage. Okay? Let's not even go the, oh, well, you know, it's like, it feels wrong. You feel like that. That's not the reason why, okay? I get called a misogynist all the time. That's not why. The reason why is because it's retarded on a philosophical level. Because think about the proposition that Red Pill is putting up. The proposition Red Pill is putting up is that there's a bunch of women, there's a bunch of whores, so make more whores. That's a proposition. And then they will talk crap about religion and go like, well, you know, Christianity's not going to save you. You know, these girls aren't going to change. And then they're like, the Christian's like, well, but, complete disappointment, okay? And I want to go two angles here. I want to first go over the philosophical, nerdy angle, then I want to go over the practical angle. So the philosophical, nerdy angle is that in order to have a worldview, in order to say that something is true, you need a reason for it being true. I'm sure you understand that. You shouldn't say things without support. And when you say something like, okay, you know what, this red pill ideology, you should sleep with a bunch of girls, because that's a part of it, and you should take on these ideas, and don't come at me with saying, well, I just take the things about female nature, like I leave out the rest, because I'm going to talk about that later. But let's go straight into this. You need justification for what you say is true. The red pill, divorced from religion, and even if it's religion, it makes less sense. Divorced from religion, how could you claim that anything is true without a deeper standard of truth? Well, it's true because, you know, we biologically were developed in order to be like this. Okay, men were biologically developed to, you know, go like this without consent. Should we do that? Oh, well, actually, you know, we have decided as humans it's arbitrary. I'm not going to get too far into the philosophy here, but the point is that it's a logically incoherent system, first of all. And second of all, more practical for you guys, when you say, oh, well, they're right about female nature, okay, they may say a lot of things that are right, but you don't need the red pill for that. Guess what book happens to have all that information for you, nice and without perversion, nice and, you know, with all the good holy things intact? This book. It's called a Bible. I don't know how much you read it, but everything that red pill gets right is in the Bible, and everything the red pill gets wrong is either condemned or not in the Bible. Don't worry, everything I say will be free, but I will suggest very heavily that you join my Discord because you can get one-on-one access with me. You can ask me a question on there. I will answer it in there as of now, at least. It's not too crazy yet. And you also gain access to uncensored information in Discord channel, which I cannot share on YouTube. There's also more general, broad information and niche information on different subjects that are not touched on in this video, most likely. Being said, find that in the description. Let's get back to the video. So, don't take the red pill, take the Christ pill. For example, what is red pill good for? Well, red pill is good for understanding that females, you know, they are certain ways. Okay, they don't like men that are losers. They want a man that's strong. Sometimes they don't really know what they're doing, and sometimes they need a man to make a decision for them. Oh, well, maybe we should read instead of listening to all of these red pill low IQ retards, maybe we should look at the book that says a man is the head of woman. A woman should submit to a man as she does to God. I do not permit a woman to teach a man in a church. Maybe we should listen to that book. Maybe that book already told us everything we needed to know. Maybe we shouldn't go to these retards on the internet. Okay? And you know what? In some sense, I don't blame the people who do take this position of going for the red pill, because what Christians are talking like that? What Christians talk like me? All right, maybe I am a little too mean. Maybe I'm a little too brash. Maybe I'm a bit too rough-edged. But what I can tell you is this. I'm telling the truth in this regard far more than these other people. So maybe soften it. I mean, I wouldn't soften it personally, but who knows? You know, I'm not God. I don't know that for sure. I'm not infallible. What I can say is that I know that the Bible says that in English. Yeah, I speak English and I read English very well. And I think a lot of people would say I speak English very well as well. As well. Talk about a bad time to goof up like that. Any case, okay, you get the point. The Bible gave you everything you needed, bro, when it comes to woman. And leaves out all the garbage, because here's the thing. A lot of these red pill pickup strategies, they are made for bars. They're made for clubs, where women are basically there just to get split into two. Okay, like those Twizzlers you break apart, or that candy or whatever. They're getting there to get split, okay? That's the whole point. If you can't sleep with a girl there, then you're retarded. Or you're just like a cerebral palsy or something. All right? But, so if you apply that advice in like a church, you apply that advice in a school to an actual good girl, it's not going to work too well. And it also it's also kind of dumb in terms of how do you apply it, because, you know, I don't look like the most friendly. I'm like intimidating, which is good for the long term. It's more attractive. But it's harder to get things started, right? So when the red pill tells you, like, oh, you gotta, like, be super manly, when I do that, I just look like I want to kill them, right? So it's too much. So me, you know, smile and laugh a little bit. Don't soy face. You know, take it easy. And if you look a bit like a loser, a bit like a pretty boy, then you kind of be a bit more serious. So that's another angle where it's just not very high IQ. It's not very tailored towards individuals. But in general, the principles are made for you to sleep with girls within a night. It's not for long-term marriage, you know, waiting until marriage. Okay? And the principles, the objective axioms you get from the Bible will help you do what I just said. And it would help if there's someone who's teaching other people properly how to do these things. And I look around, I don't really see many people, so I'm like, all right, you know what? Put on my overalls, put on my pants, let's get to work. All right, so that's what I'm trying to do here. So enjoy this video, join the Discord, you can ask me questions there personally, and I'll see you in the next one. This is not the actual end of the stream, I just felt like ending that video like that. Okay, I feel like that one was good.